Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, I got a new piece of equipment. And because I got a new piece of equipment, you all get a chance to see me attempt to see if this equipment works. And what better way for me to see if this equipment works other than going live right now? And what I'm attempting to do is I'm attempting to thread all needles. And again, let me try this again because I think my mic should sound better now. What I'm attempting to do is thread all needles and go live on every platform that's possible. So if you're seeing this on Instagram, salute to you. Drop me a comment. Let me know if my audio just got much better here just a second ago. If you're seeing this on Facebook or Facebook, we appreciate you joining us here. Also, I am here to talk a bit about the market, but I wanted to make it based on maybe questions that you all have or any details that anyone may be interested in. So I'm gonna wait and see if we have anyone that joins. If anybody has a question, I'll pause for a moment and see if there's any questions that anyone has. Because again, I got some new equipment and you all get to benefit from the new equipment that I got. So any questions about the market, about TRG, about the conflict in Iran, because I want to do about 10 minutes to see if this works. I think y'all can hear me. So just let me know if you can hear me out there and then we'll go from there. Oh, also, if you haven't heard, you can come by the Hive this Thursday for a watch party for Tank versus Tyrese. I know that has nothing to do with finance, but obviously we need to unite as a community and all be rooting for Tank in this, I hope. So keep that in mind. That's also something I would encourage you all to do. So if you got any questions, let me know. We'll give it a few minutes. Okay. So checking back in. Well, I did get a question on Facebook. All right. So that's actually pretty good technology here because I can see all the comments and stuff as well. Instagram, get it together. You know, I know I'm just jumping on in the middle of the day, but people are asking about gas prices and what maybe I might be thinking what may be happening here in the next 2, 4, 6 weeks. So just to give a little background on how the petrodollar, how gas prices may impact us moving forward. Right now, we understand that there is the conflict in Iran, which we've took oil from our strategic oil reserve. We've lifted some sanctions from Russia and Iran to allow maybe some easing of the prices. And then, of course, as we get comments from the commander in chief around how long this conflict may happen or how short it may be, there is some, markets that move as it relates on a daily basis. So, to give you a prediction, I can't really say exactly what may be happening. If I did, we'd all be living on an island right now because we'd be rich. But what I can guarantee is that we'll see some volatility. One day prices may be coming down, the next day they may be right back up. Because the one thing I can tell you is that no one is preparing for things to just have a dramatic drop right now. And also consider that as we go into the summer is one of the highest periods of gas uses as it is. People are taking road trips, vacation, more flights. So we already had elevated gas numbers as we go into the summer, pretty much on an annual basis. So if I was you all and I was budgeting, I was trying to make sure that, hey, I was preparing myself for a potential more protracted period of higher gas prices, you would probably be in the right state of mind. Now, does that mean that we'd continue to see it rise at the rapid pace that it has now? Probably not. But I would definitely encourage you to understand that with as volatile as the situation is overseas, that's going to impact us directly. And gas prices is one thing, but you also have to consider there's several materials that use petroleum, that use things that are coming from the strait that would maybe impact you on a daily basis. So you might see some inflation not only in the purchase of you at the gas pump, you might also see some of that in other areas of the economy. So keep that in mind. That may be something that you'll see over the next few weeks. So let me see if I get any other questions. Any questions? Again, I'm here for a few minutes, specifically because I got a new piece of technology and I want to see if it works. And so far, I think it does. So I'll check a few of the other platforms and see if so. Any questions on Instagram? Oh, of course. Thank you for allowing me to be a distinguished gentleman. My brother, Team Double Dose. Yes, I'm attempting to be distinguished today for sure. All right, let me see if I got another question over here. Okay. All right. I put it in the chat. I got a DM question. All right. AI question this time. So is AI really going to take jobs? And I hate to say this, but the short answer to some degree will be yes. Now, that doesn't mean that tomorrow, whatever work that you're doing, that artificial intelligence will be able to take that job. But it does mean that there may be companies that are considering, hey, we could reduce our workforce based on what artificial intelligence can do. But what I would encourage people is to consider that you should use AI as a supplement to what you already do. So if it's able to speed up your workflow, do it. Check the results, check the answers, because that's going to make a difference. If it's able to supplement the work that you do, maybe give you an opportunity to make more time, you should do that as well. But I don't think AI is necessarily going to take all the jobs. But what it will do, it'll make leaders or people who are in the environment where they make decisions, they may look at the jobs more closely to determine what can AI do that allows you to free up more time to do other things, or what tasks can we eliminate by using AI. The leaders of today are going to be the people who continue using it moving forward. So don't have guilt. And I would encourage anybody, do not have guilt. If you have the ability to do something that AI is doing and it's freeing up some more time for you to do something else, that's an ideal scenario. But if you're a person who's sitting around like, man, I don't want to use this because it's going to replace me, you'll be one of those people that get replaced. So I'm encouraging everybody to consider, and this isn't a market conversation, this is just more a philosophy around how technology is introduced. People didn't know what email would do to the mailing system. People didn't know what the World Wide Web would do to the telephone system. There's always going to be some form of disruptor in the system. Do your best to be a part of the disruption instead of, sitting in the back while people were making those moves. So great question there about AI. Also, there are several companies, if we're looking at the market, that play a major role as it relates to all of this artificial intelligence. And most of you have heard of NVIDIA, which is the main one. They make the semiconductor chips that allow a lot of this technology to work. But there are several other players. Happy to have that conversation with people, mutual funds that you can look at that may give you some exposure. But at the same time, we're looking at long-term gains. We're not trying to beat the market, time to market. So if you got some questions about that, hit me up on there as well. So I got time for a couple more. Again, my technology is working. It has not failed on me. So if I get another question, I'm happy to answer that. So anything on IG, again, I think I figured out today, my test was, so just to let y'all know how crazy I'm going right now. I'm landscape on one device, I'm portrait on another, and I'm streaming on 5 different places at one time. So you might see me more often. I might be talking Black Men Buy Houses one day. I might be talking The Hive another day. And of course, you'll get inundated with TRG financial content. So one more question. Let's see if I get one, whether it's from Instagram, Facebook, IG, or YouTube. Okay, I got another Facebook one here. So, and now this is more interesting. So this is leading into maybe something that they've heard me say, whether it's on Poor Horseman. You can catch us every Monday. We'd love for you to watch that. We'd love for you also to join us this Thursday at the Hive while we do our versus watch party. But the question that I got was, when is a good time to sell your stocks? And you're probably going to get an answer from me that you don't like. I'm a person, if we're having a conversation, and again, this isn't advice, this is just me discussing a few themes online. I'm a person that believes that you buy and you're holding those securities over a period of time. Because what happens, like right now, let's say that there's a protracted dip in the market. And let's say that you're a person who rebalances their portfolio. They've got a certain amount of equity or, you know, exposure to stocks in their portfolio, maybe some fixed income, some government grade type quality, etc. What happens is when you sell, you've now priced in those losses for yourself. And let me give you an example of what I mean. So let's say you bought something for $5. And let's just assume that you bought an item for $5 and you started to see that item start to lose some of its value. So you go back and you try to sell it to the community, but you can only sell it for $3. Okay. So at that time, yeah, you felt like I'm missing out on that $2. Let me go ahead and sell now before it drops down to zero, which could very well happen. Like we've always talked about in this industry, investment involves risk of loss, but there's also the potential of you gaining income there as well. But what happens is now that you've lost, let's say that the market or this product that you purchase starts to rally again and there's more ability for you to make money on that product. Let's say now that that product that you sold for $5, it's ran back up and it's worth 10. You've already priced in the loss of you selling it for $2 less than you would have gained, not being able to participate now in the run up of it being worth $10. So I've never been a proponent of, going in unless you absolutely had to do something, but there's conversations, scenarios around that where you may make that decision. But I've never been a proponent of, hey, we got to get out right now. Now, there are things that you can do within your portfolio. Maybe change the investment mix. Maybe have a conversation with an accountant on different strategies there if you need cash or available things. But for the most part, I'm never going to be pro as soon as we see some downturn in the market, immediately taking those money or those dollars out of the market. So, again, if you join me today, I think I'm gonna do this more often now that I think I figured out my technology. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the few questions. If you have a question or something that you want to follow up later, hit me up. You can reach me at Rollins Breon at trg-financial.com, or you can just hit me on Instagram. I got a couple more DMs just now. But again, if you like what you see, or if you want to do this more often, just let me know and I'll be back with some new technology. So now I'm gonna go test and see if all this really worked on the back end. I think y'all could hear me. If you couldn't, I apologize, but I was doing what I could to see if I can get this off the ground. So we look forward to talking to you all soon. We appreciate it.